All right, we are Tuesday, the 9th of October. It's 12 and 10 minutes. We're in Israel, Tel Aviv, and...
We're in 2025, just in case.
25. And good news.
Good news.
Good news all around.
Good news.
Don't be that person.
No, good news.
Good news. So far, we have a deal signed, not signed?
We have a pre-deal, pre-signed by both parties. It's complicated, like everything here needs to be studied, and I think it's starting now, the ceasefire. Yes, because every time there is a ceasefire, there is a rocket or something happening, right?
So last time we talk talk about the point, the deal. Is it going to happen? Who's going to do what? Is Macron? We talk about
the recognition of the state of Palestine.
Exactly.
Maybe it did push Trump to, proceed faster to this deal, push for this deal, because after all, no, you don't think so?
I think it's also yes,
because
he played to his ego.
Exactly,
like
in a world of leaders with
more
ego than they ever had, because they always.
You won't tell me what to do. I'm the boss. I'm the
one making peace.
I'm the one making deals. I think also he wants. Oh my God, he wants maybe a Nobel Prize. And it's like the last week to final application, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure.
I think they're deciding for this prize this week, or at least this month. I don't know what will happen if he doesn't get it.
By the way, I think he should get it. I mean, if it's happening, I'm like, give him two.
I'm giving him one myself. Like I will make it here in this art school and whatever. I think, don't get me wrong, I don't agree with Trump's politic. What's happening in the United States now, when we see the images, it's terrible. I hope the Americans will take care of this right away and try to find a solution to this problem. But for what's happening now here and what he did for peace, yes. I never thought I would say that, but he deserves it. That's my opinion.
So I want to start with you today, reading out loud, if it's okay with you, the post that you have written on Facebook this morning. I will put it also on camera, so we have you.
My very optimist.
Because yes, okay.
Okay, so I said that I want to summon all the optimism in the world, while knowing that nothing is done until it's done. So not so optimistic. That ceasefires are always mixed with new attacks. That Gazan civilians are not entirely safe yet. They have a lot to rebuild. And that there is so much to rebuild. That Hamas still exists. That so much work needs to be done afterwards, after we get our people back, and that we're so exhausted and we just want to enjoy the euphoria and to rest and stop fighting, because we've had to fight even inside of our souls to stay strong. We have had to, through the last 2 years, and 2 days of reality with scarce drop of optimism that kept us going, and dissociation from which we'll have to break away from. Very bad reading.
So it's like you're optimistic, but with a grain of, like, with a lot of salt. It's not totally like, wow. I mean,
I think our bodies and our souls want to be optimistic, and you can feel it already in the air. Also because of the rain for Sukkot, and there was a rainbow earlier. But the last 2 years have taught us that...
Éloigne-toi un petit peu. Excuse-moi. Sorry. Yes.
If you can't hear me.
Yeah.
The last 2 years have taught us that things are a bit more complicated, that we cannot forget everything that's... we have a lot of work to do. And yes, we're exhausted, we're tired. We're tired because we had so much to do and so much despair over the last 2 years, and we had to really dig inside of us, of ourselves, to find some hope and not collapse every day of those last 2 years.
Do you think it's...
It's a trap. It's a trap because now we have to rebuild, and we still have to work hard to get better conditions, to get elections and everything, to change the reality, to, I don't know, rebuild Gaza, but that will not be only up to us, of course, and work together maybe for peace. I mean, I don't know, there is so much to do. The list is very long, and we're so tired, and now we just want to, like, say stop, that's it. We're done, and we just want to go to sleep for the next 3 months.
But do you think it's time to at least let go for like a week?
So I always try to, go back to the families and what they say, like as an Israeli, of course, and they're like in the euphoria, but at the same time, with the euphoria, they're like, okay, until we get everyone home, we keep pushing. Yes?
Yes. Don't
hear me from here.
It's recording the noise.
So yeah, that's...
So until the last hostage is back home to his family...
and we know that we cannot trust Hamas, and Hamas is still here. I mean, we have to be worried about that. But yeah, we also want to rejoice, and I think
how do you react tonight or this morning when you first read that a deal was signed during the night?
I spent my night following what's going on with this deal. I didn't fall asleep before I got the final...
okay, get me there.
1 o'clock in Jerusalem. No, it was a process of yes, no, maybe, following this group on WhatsApp or Telegram that gives the news instantly from different... like Saudi newspaper or Lebanese newspaper or Palestinian newspaper or Israeli newspaper or politicians, American politicians, until they got to this official, even from Israel and from the United States, official, okay, Hamas agreed on this part of the deal. Some things still have to be discussed, as, for example, the prisoners that will be freed by Israel in exchange for the hostages, alive and the deceased. And, it's like, yes, we believe it, we want to believe it, but they're not here yet. And also they talked about freeing everyone on Friday, and then Saturday, and then Sunday, and then they're talking about Monday. Anyway, so it's like a lot of emotions that are mixed together, and...
yes.
And, yes.
I went to sleep yesterday like every other day because I stopped believed. Like I was like, whatever. I'm not gonna waste my night on. You
really didn't want to hope even after you saw this speech together of Bibi
like
and Trump?
It's like the elections in Israel. When you're in the evening, it's like, okay, it's gonna happen, and you're waking up in the morning, and it's like Bibi again. So it was for me. It was like that. I was like, okay, I'm going to sleep. Whatever, what happens. And in the morning, my wife, she woke me up. She woke me up like early, like it was 6:30, and she was like, they signed the deal. I was like, okay, thank you. we almost went to wake up the kids.
It's Christmas here.
I went to my daughter's room and I told her, she was like, but for the first time in so many months, I felt like kind of joy, a bit. And for me, the moment I saw it like happening, it started raining. And it was like this kind of morning. I love the rain in Israel. It's the best part. I hate the summer. And it was like, okay, I mean, wow. Maybe.
It's supposed to be a good sign, a good omen. But now we just have to wait and...
Take me to the last 2 years for you. How ups and downs.
wow, it's been like upside down. It's like not from one week to the next. It's like every day, every hour can be different. And this is the thing. Like 1 hour you're in despair completely. The next you're trying to grab on hope. We lost people, and there is also this feeling like, because we just commemorated October 7 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
And so, of course, we went deep into the abyss of mourning again, or even more than usual, because this is kind of an everyday thing, or at least every month. I mean, I've been to so many funerals and Shiva and tents of mourning when it was Bedouin hostages that were found dead or killed.
Take me to one funeral. I was too few also.
So there is this, wow. Certainly it's like I'm trying to find in my head, like I have to count them to really remember how many I've been to.
I went to the funeral of Cedric Green. He was a soldier. He fought in the Gaza Strip in the middle of the war, and he was from the Philippine community.
I remember that now. I remember him.
So it was very close to me because my son plays basketball, and he started to play with in the south of Tel Aviv. That's where he was accepted because everything was full. So the only place he could find a slot was in the south of Tel Aviv, and obviously the south, like every city, is like immigrants and so. The first year he was playing only with Filipinos.
Because a lot of them live in this area of Tel Aviv.
Okay. Sudanese boys, all the immigrant workers, and that's how I discovered that community. So I was also like helping the coach because he was a very hard. Group of teenagers, and the coach was new, so I was like his kind of help, and I get very close to them. And when Cedric, he was a boy that grew up in that area, and for many of immigrants, I mean they're not immigrants, they're illegal. Some of them are illegal in Israel. So for many of them to get their paper, to get actually a citizenship, there is a way which is enlist in the army. And then after finishing the army, if you fight good for Israel, maybe they will give you a citizenship. And by the way, if you're dying in the war, you're obviously getting a citizenship, and maybe your parents will get one too. And that's what happened. High
price to pay.
And so he was... When he was in the army, he wasn't an Israeli citizen. He was an illegal citizen, an illegal immigrant who was born in Israel but doesn't have a citizenship. And those stories are like crazy, and there is a huge community. And his funeral was so moving because people come from all over. So you had these, hardcore Israeli third, fifth generation here, I don't know, way before the creation of Israel. And you have all the immigrants all together.
Yeah.
So that was a hard day. It was raining.
Okay, so sometimes it's raining also... for all kind of reasons.
Yeah, you can read all over the places that Israel is like this ethno-state, like white state, the white imperialism. People don't realize how diverse and how... Israel is like, until you see it, you don't understand how many different groups, the diversity of the people living in Israel.
Yeah. And so, for example, one of these communities is the Bedouin community in the Negev, which is a community I've been working with for almost 3 years now. And many Bedouins from the south were murdered on October 7, and some of them were kidnapped as well. And some of them came back, but not all of them. And for example, I went to the tent of mourning in Hura, in the town of Hura, the Al-Talalka family. Their son was kidnapped on October 7, and he was killed mistakenly by soldiers, by the Israeli army, with 2 other kidnapped as they were trying to escape, and it was a big mess.
There was that story where...
Yes. And we decided that it was important to go there. Many people were there also, of course. Politicians came, one after another. And, to see the parents always, it's so devastating to see parents mourning their child. And 2 days before it happened, 2 days before they were killed, those 3 hostages, I saw the video that we were trying to highlight in the campaign for the hostages, the Bedouin families as well, the Bedouin hostages. And so there was this video that was made about his parents, and they were talking. And at the end of this video, the father is like, how happy it will be, how nice it will be when he will come back, and he's smiling, and then this happened, and it was really heartbreaking.
It was a crazy story. For those who don't know that story, so there were 3 hostages who managed to get free to
escape kidnappers together.
Yeah, and they were making their way in the street of Gaza towards Israel.
They were trying. It was shooting everywhere, and they was trying to signal that they were hostages that escaped, and they were shot by mistake in the confusion. That's what
by the army.
By the Israeli army, yes.
Yeah.
So, that was a very sad one among many very sad moments. And, I remember that she said that some politicians came to her, among them Gallant, the mother. And she said, I hope you never have to do that again, to come and apologize for a hostage that was murdered instead of coming back to his family alive. And you can, the eyes of parents who lost their kid it's something that I cannot stand. Like making eye contact was,
yes,
I had a lot of experiences like that since, and and I don't want to have to do that ever. Yeah. So let's make peace.
I also was in a funeral in Nir Oz for the burial of Oded Lifshitz. He was abducted with his wife on 7th of October. He was 82. His wife, Yochke, she was freed. She was released among the first, because she's, I don't know, at some point they decide to realize to free the older woman, and so she was released, but he stayed behind, and at some point, I guess, he died there. We don't know how, if he was killed or if he we know that he was injured during his abduction. And again, it was a very difficult day, because the people in Nir Oz, especially this community, were very peaceful people.
They were all involved in...
They were all involved in peaceful projects, especially with kids from the Gaza Strip. So Oded, which was abducted by Hamas, by a young Gazan, dedicate his life to help young Gazan to get accepted in Israeli hospitals for those who couldn't get treatment in the Gaza Strip.
The Road to Recovery, right? This one, or maybe there are other organizations. Yeah, I think 7 members of the Road to Recovery were murdered on October 7, or kidnapped and murdered in captivity.
And so it was a very hard. It was a very hard feeling for this community who dedicate their life, who try to help, who were very peaceful, try to get to work with the other side, and 7th of October changed everything.
Yeah, that is true for many people who were like either very, very peace activists who were very, very active, or who were just maybe not as active as him and as this community, but still, and who completely lost hope that it was possible to live together or to trust even. And that's one of the sad things, among many other sad things that happened during this war since the massacre of October 7.
Yeah, I guess that's the challenge now for the years to come. How you build, some kind of connection, some kind of bridge to the other side. I think it's going to be very hard and very long process.
And I think if we have to do it separately, so let's do it separately. Let's do it. Maybe for now, I think the most important, of course, is to bring the hostages home, take care of them. Here also not give up on everything that we have to work on in Gaza. Before we can talk about maybe building those bridges between Israelis and Palestinians, it's more about like rebuilding. Most people, even if the bombing stops, they're homeless.
Yes.
They have nothing, and it will take time to rebuild just like the housing, and we're not even talking about psychological damages and everything. And yes, there is a lot to do.
Do you know of the process of rebuilding? Who's going to take care of it? What are the mechanisms?
At this moment, I heard so many things. I'm not sure. They were talking about, from the Rivera that they wanted to build to now, to
That's not going to happen.
the line of withdrawal, and until when are we going to stay? Like the Israeli army is going to be stationed still to keep an eye on things, and Arab countries or not Arab countries, Tony Blair.
What Tony Blair has to do with it?
Like, I don't think it... I don't think anyone wants. He does have his own experience with the region, but I don't think it's something that people want. No. Kushner also was named as maybe someone who will be in charge of this. Egyptian, I don't know. I guess it is going to depend on many, many factors, and what the people who have the power to do it want. Yeah. And again, it made me realize, this is something only the people who have the power to make those wars have the power to stop them, maybe also.
Yes.
And we can only make peace with maybe our neighbors, the few people that we can reach. The real thing is people who have the power to make it. And apparently, doves of peace come in all shape and colors. Yeah. Even orange. And so, yeah, we'll see. At this point, I think it's too early to really
I think the first challenge will be to have disarmament of the strip. Take care of all the
provide enough help, humanitarian aid for everyone.
But for that to happen, the place will be, for humanitarian aid to get into the Gaza Strip like freely, to really get to the people. These organizations will have the need to feel secure, and yes. For that they will have there is a need of having Hamas out of that area, not carrying guns all over and ruling the place. And that's the third challenge to me. Who's going to take care of getting to all those guns and taking them and say, okay, no guns anymore? If the Israeli army is not doing that job, which I'm all for it, I'm not for doing that work, who's going to do it? The Qataris, I don't see them sending troops over there. The Americans.
And how? It's still fuzzy, let's say, some conditions. Like, I read that Hamas agreed to partially disarm. Like, what does it even mean? Like, I'm giving you the gun, but not the bullets, or the bullet. I don't know. It's so there is still a lot
not
of...
Not all the guns. Half of the guns.
I keep the little one. Like, what does it mean? I don't know. It's also... I'm sorry to say, I don't want Hamas anywhere. I don't want it in Gaza. I don't want it anywhere else, if you ask me. It's not... Rami couldn't join us today, and hopefully we'll be able, or other people also from Gaza will be able to speak maybe next time. But some of them say, and they said that during the last ceasefire, like, so what? People in Gaza, from what I heard from them, yes?
Yeah, sure.
Not my words. So we went through all this.
And Hamas is still alive.
And Hamas is still there. Like, what? Why? What? And this is one of the things that, like, everything that happened since October 7, all the loss, all the grief, like... And then we have this agreement, and part of me is like, so why? What did anyone achieve with this, except all the hatred and confusion and instability around the world? Why? What?
So I guess the first steps will be to have Hamas out of the picture, some way or another. I don't see any rebuild happening with Hamas in control of the Gaza Strip. I don't see how it's technically...
But who else? Because if you don't... it's always the same. So what? Maybe they will have a civil war in Gaza between different clans, organizations. What about the Islamic Jihad? What about the new clans risings that they say that were armed by Israel to fight Hamas?
So in the Trump peace, 21 peace, one of them is addressing that issue and talks about putting like a provisionary government made of, they said, technocrat Palestinians,
exactly.
Blah, 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 international coalition of whoever. But it's part of the agreement. It's one of the points.
But did they agree on that? Did they all agree on that? Because this is the thing, we have the plan.
So that's what we don't, that's why you were... Yes, writing what you write this morning, because it's not a grain of salt. It's the big issues. They're the small prints, but so the fighting is over for now. The first steps are going on their way. Release of the hostages in the next 2-3 days, and withdrawal of the Israeli army to
different lines.
Yeah, different lines on the Gaza Strip. And then now starts the real issues. Because, we give them back the prisoners, they give us the hostages, we stop the killing, and now we have to start the real work. But for that work to happen, for those coalition of Saudis, Qataris, I don't know, Egyptian, Turk maybe, I don't know, to get into the Gaza Strip, to actually have boot on the grounds to start working, Hamas need to be out of the picture. And I still don't see a mechanism. I still saw them this morning claiming victory over the Gaza Strip. So
of course, they have to present it like this. I think... one of the hardest things, and it's always the same, and at the end you find yourself doing it also, it's it's never going to be perfect, right? Yeah,
but there is perfect, and there is, we can't have another round.
No.
We can't, perfect, nobody wants but we can't go back to the 6th of October when we had those missiles coming every other day,
Right.
and it was part of our daily life. It was like, okay, this is Israel. One of every week, every month, you have missiles. If you live in the south, this is part of your day-to-day. Every day, you have missiles coming onto your house, and this is life. I don't think anybody wants to go back to that situation.
No, and we shouldn't have to. But I think the period of transition is going to be very complex, difficult, even more so maybe for people in Gaza, because again, there is so much to rebuild and instability over there, that vacuums and that are going to be filled maybe not by the right person, and even if it's an international coalition, of course there will be issues. They bring the good and they bring the bad. They don't understand always what's going on in the region, what are the real challenges. They don't always, and other actors, we don't know if we can believe them. Whose interests are they really trying to serve, you know? I mean, of course, Turkey played a role in this agreement, but do I believe the government, the Turkish government? No, I don't believe. As an Israeli, I don't believe them. They hate us.
The Turkish government made a very strange turn in the last few years. I mean, since...
You mean with the Kurds?
No. I mean, 10 years ago, Israel was... we were in good relation with Turkey and with the government of Turkey. The Israeli army was having Air Force drills in Turkey. There was a base for Israeli airplanes in Turkey. So we were like very close. We were helping them with the Air Force.
But non-officially mostly, right?
Yeah, but it was like
we had also
everybody knew, and a lot of Israelis were traveling to Turkey, and
yes,
there was a very good relationship, economical relationship. A lot of goods were coming from Turkey to Israel, tomatoes, olive oil, whatever. And suddenly, like, Erdogan decided that he was like, for his own political gain, he was good to like bashing on Israel.
Like every other leader in the region, this is what instead of addressing other problems and.
But we never have any beef with Turkey.
Yeah, but they keep saying that they fear that we will attack them, and.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, we attacked with.
We didn't attack anyone.
Qatar.
No, I mean...
Hamas in Qatar, but still, it's a sovereign country.
Yeah, but it's not like attacking a country. No one attacks Qatar. Like, there was not an Israeli plan of attacking the Qataris.
No.
The idea, I mean, I'm not sure what they were thinking, but I guess the idea was to get, to pressure Hamas and to signalize them that the free pass that they get for so many years, like you're safe somewhere in the world, that's not happening anywhere. If you rage word against us, we will get you, no matter if you're in Qatar or wherever. But I don't think anyone thinks that it was an attack on Qatar. Like, by the way, Qatar, with all due respect, you know, like...
Yeah, there's a lot to say, and their like, agenda is very...
Just open Al Jazeera for 5 minutes. It's like, what's happening there?
Just open Al Jazeera in the Arabic version and in the English version. And they're so different also, like one is woke and one is like the opposite, and they also belong to Qatar. They both belong to Qatar anyway, so everything serves an agenda that Qatar has.
The propaganda against Israel is like, it's so blatant, it's so obvious. They're not even trying to like giving the news.
And they're the one who gave the money all these years.
So again, Qatar, but
Hamas,
to go back to the point, I mean, it's not that Israel ever attack like for nothing, like just attacking.
No, it's important because we see a lot that Israel is attacking all those countries like Yemen and Lebanon and Palestine and Syria and Iran. And I mean, Yemen, we didn't just one day woke up and say, okay, hey, let's bomb Yemen. First of all,
Yemen.
First of all, we're talking about the Houthis.
Houthis.
And
Houthis.
I don't know how to say it in English. Houthis.
Houthis.
And they targeted Israel first, right? So they did it first.
No, it's not that they targeted
same from the
Israel
for the Hezbollah.
first.
It's the
It's
Hezbollah.
like since 7th of October, the Houthis have fired missiles every week on Israel, like hundreds of ballistic missiles, not just like the small like.
And they're
pew,
impressively
pew.
consistent.
I mean, which country in the world wouldn't do nothing? Like say, okay, that's part of day-to-day life. I mean, let's say you're in Denmark and every day you're getting a missile from, let's say, Scotland. Like, why not? And you're like, no, I'm not doing anything. So we didn't attack Yemen. We respond like lightly, very nicely to a country. I mean, it's crazy.
No, it's not the country. It's also the Houthis who are. It's a country that is fighting a civil war. The country is in a very, very bad situation. Terrible.
Yeah, but again, I mean, if it was any other country, the
and no one was talking about this until this beef with Israel, by the way. So at least now some people know what is Yemen, even though they still don't understand what's going on over there.
By the way,
and people are still starving also over there, and it's terrible what's happening over there, and it has been going on for more than 10 years.
Israel.
And Hezbollah in Lebanon is also like an actor that is an actor of instability, and Houthis, like Hezbollah, are
have talked to Lebanese on Facebook
Iran
who told me, finish it with Hezbollah, please, because our government is not going to do the job. Nobody is going to do the job. Iran, obviously, no, it's only you who can help us. And by the way, when Israel was dealing with Hezbollah, I mean, it's not that Lebanon loves us, but a lot of them were like, okay,
we have a hard history, difficult history with them.
But it's not like we.
But people in Syria and Lebanon, a lot of them were happy about the end of Nasrallah. That's for sure. Remembering the role. Supporting Bashar al-Assad and what they did to the people of Syria also, and
again, these guys are fucking extremists to the hardcore fundamentalist. I mean, it's ISIS. So it's not like we're attacking like countries. Like it's not. I don't understand the Turkish.
And they fired after October 7 in support of Hamas and not the Alaska flood, like the Hamas called it. They started to fire missiles.
For 1 year, I have a friend that lives in a kibbutz. Kibbutz are small villages in the north of Israel. Communities.
Based.
So many of them are on the border of the north of Israel. I have a good friend that lives there. For 1 year, he wasn't living in his house. All the north of Israel has been emptied by the Israeli government in fear of having a 7th of October. All the people were living in Tel Aviv. They took all of them as a kind of a refugee in their own country.
In our own family also, we had they lived with my mother-in-law and my father-in-law for like a few months.
And for 1 year, Hezbollah just shoot every day thousands of missiles on the north of Israel. And then we're attacking you? It's funny.
So it's a bit more complicated than that. Does not mean that our government is doing great things. Again, I'm still not supporting our government. I approve, however, of this peace plan, but it raised a lot of questions and a lot of worries, right? Still.
Yes, but obviously, I don't I don't have much love for Netanyahu and especially this government. They're the worst. But I think that no matter what government, it's like Oded Lifshitz. It's like no matter who the people they abducted, they wanted to kill Jew on that day. And no matter what government would have been in power in Israel, if it was Netanyahu or Bennett or Yair Lapid or whoever, the result and would be mostly the same. I mean, some of the thing must have been done. No matter the government, you'd have to take care of Hezbollah. You have to take care of the Houthis. You have to go to Iran. I mean, no matter the government.
So there is this thing that it's hard for me to say as a peace activist, of course, but when we try so hard to avoid war sometimes, and the other side really want it, because it's true that some terrorist organizations in the Middle East want the annihilation of Israel. Shit, now even people in the Western world want that. So at least admit it.
No, but
when you're trying to avoid war, sometimes you just postpone something that's going to happen anyway, maybe, and be even worse, right?
But that's the reality of wanting peace in a zone when there is war. And that's, we're on that podcast is called the it's from the PeaceFactory. It's like on the PeaceFactory page posted, and we're supposed to be peace activists somehow, and we're talking for half an hour about war. But that's the reality of being an Israeli. You want peace, but sometimes you also want to live. You want security, and it's okay to want peace, but it's also okay not to give to your enemies.
It's okay to want to ensure your own safety, the safety of your people, to not always work with watching your back. That's not exactly what I felt I got with this government, our government, the Israeli government, over the last years, for sure. But that doesn't mean that some of the people around, like Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthim, don't want the Iranian...
The Ayatollahs.
Yes, not the Iranian people, but the people in charge.
No, obviously, yeah.
Want to do bad things to us.
And they're saying that out loud. It's written on the Houthis' flag. It's like literally on their flag. It's not that it's just dead to America, dead to Israel. It's their official flag.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if they were Chas v'Shalom to succeed, don't think it will solve all of your problems. Because this is something that you see also. Israel is the problem is Israel. It's not that Israel is the problem. There are many, many problems. You can pin them on us, but won't change the reality. You have a lot to deal with, your own problems.
I think these 2 years were waking up call for a lot of people, especially for the Jewish diaspora. I think it was very hard on them to suddenly realize, first, the amount of hate, that the flood of hate for Israel, anti-Zionism, how they call it, anti-Semitism.
Because it's not only Israel. People really got. It was, and for a long time they were still saying, it's Zionism, it's Zionism, it's Zionism, and if you just say that you're not Zionist, even if you're a Jew, everything will be fine, and it's not exactly what they felt in the diaspora, no matter what they say or no matter what they did. And if you go on the social media, every other post now, you can find something openly against Jews,
It's like the new nice. Be anti-Semite. Talk about Jews. I just saw 2 days ago a guy on a stand-up comedy show, and someone asked him, like, if you had to wipe off the map one country, which one would it be? Which is a very strange question to ask on a
Yes.
stand-up. And the guy, without even like thinking like more than 1 second, says Israel. Like, obviously, it's obvious. If they're wiping Israel off the map is the new nice thing to say.
Again, yeah, it's like the woke thing, like it's because it's all of the problems, and this is what many leaders in the Arab world did for years. Like in Syria, they talk about it extensively, and when I interviewed people from Syria for the PeaceFactory 10 years ago, this is what they said. We've been raised, explained that all of our problems came from Israel, and everything was against Israel, and there was nothing to complain about in Syria. It was all Israel. You don't have this vegetable or those fruits on the market. This is because of Israel, no matter what. So all of those problems, and this is something you can find also in European
but those
all the
ideas
European anti-Semitism
have transferred to mainstream European academies.
Yeah,
you found them now.
It was before. Again, it's old anti-Semitism renewed. It's not.
I'm not sure it's old. It's not like white anti-Semitic. We hate the Jews because Jesus Christ. And no, it's not. It's like this kind of like.
No, but the conspiracies and.
They're using
and
all
the magic powers and the control and the everything.
But it's like about this fake decolonialism bullshit about being white and having this white guiltness. I mean, it's transferring their guilt about African Americans or immigrants in Europe, and suddenly they focusing all their guilt on Israel. And if we could only take care of Israel, suddenly we would be these good white people who have decolonized the world. By the way, Israel is not a colonizing, it's not a colony, it never was colonized. We're not colonizers. Because it's obvious.
No, I think it's more complicated. I see this with a different perspective a bit, if you allow me. That, it was presented in Europe at first like a colonized, but without the meaning that we put in colonies today. And also, we say we cannot colonize our own land, right? Because we belong to this land and it belongs to us, and we're Jews, and it was we prayed to return to this land for centuries.
Not only, because colonizers are coming from the metropole. French colonizers are coming from France, and they're colonizing, Algeria. Okay? Or British colonizers are coming from Britain, and they're colonizing India. We have nowhere to go back. We're not coming from, the Ukraine, and we're colonizing now Israel, but we will go back to Ukraine. The Jewish people somehow, if you go back, coming from here, from Palestine. So we're not colonizer in that sense of having a colony, like the French have a colony in Guadeloupe. But by the way, cheap.
But I also mean that even if you don't, like for example, what's happening in Judea, Samaria, West Bank, call it again whatever you think is right, or
so yes, on those places you have colonizers.
It's not part of the state. There are Jews living in there, and I can understand why some Jews want to live in there, because after all, I try, because I've been for a long time very against this, and I'm still against this. I think we should have less territory and more peace.
Yeah, of course. I wasn't talking about the West Bank. I was talking about Israel.
The way they treats the Palestinian population right now, it's like at least some people in those.
No, it's horrible. I obviously. I didn't make myself clear.
Even
I
if
wasn't
it's
talking
in the Bible,
about.
it's not. It doesn't mean that you have to act like this. And the way you act like a colonizer. Yes, when you burn trees and and herds, and you take away their herds of sheep and everything, and you attack their houses.
So yes, there are colonies in the West Bank. Obviously, I wasn't talking about the colonies in the West Bank. I mean, most of the people, when they're referencing to Israel as colonizer, they're talking about Tel Aviv. They're talking about the whole country. They're not making the difference. They're not making that subtle, but the West Bank, but the Golan. No, they're talking about you being here now, in Tel Aviv, in Jaffa. And you are a white colonizer who came from Europe to colonize the Middle East. It's not like, we're talking about the West Bank. We can talk about the West Bank. But there is this guilt of French, British, Americans, Canadian, who were colonizing people all over the world. By the way, Palestine was a colony. It was and that's why we're here now.
Is much smaller, of course. There is no even the worst of our right wings settlers don't have aspirations as large as the Britain Empire. But
they're projecting.
Yes, they are.
Their guilt of being the colonizer on us, and they're somehow want us to, I don't know, make that, leave everything so their conscience could be clear. You can see them talking about that. You can see them chanting on the streets of London, from the river to the sea. I mean, it's the whole place. It's not like, okay, the West Bank.
Yes,
and I totally agree with you. But we're not talking about the Cisjordania anymore. We're talking about all of Israel. I mean, in most of places, when people say wiping Israel out of the map, it's like the problem is Israel as a country. It's not the West Bank. No. It's not the Gaza Strip. And those ideas, there were not mainstream few years ago. You wouldn't have anyone in Europe. I mean, maybe in the Islamic community, maybe in
Islamist, yes.
But not in
maybe
not in the mainstream.
Not in the mainstream.
And now it's everywhere.
Not like now people who think they're cool by saying this, not people who...
On campus, like young white Italians saying on campus, like, Israel, it needs to be gone.
Okay, so this is something that I want for peace, that I want peace to achieve, that I want to be settled. It's that, again, no matter what happened in and on this land and how many blood, unfortunately, was shed, at the end of the day, it has to be recognized that we have two people here, and that no one is going anywhere, and that all of them deserve to live in peace, right?
Amen.
And to have security.
Amen and amen.
Right? Amen. Indeed. I'm amening my own words. They're not going anywhere. They shouldn't have to. They should have the right, yes, to live in peace, dignity, to have a house, to have food. Kids should grow up like this, with this idea that not everyone wants to kill them, and without trauma. So for the trauma, I think we're a bit late. But for the rest, maybe we can build, and I hope they will send together with the humanitarian aid at some point. I don't know, psychologists. I don't know, but. The trauma is here, and many kids are traumatized. But I hope for them we will build something better when we're not trying to wipe anyone out of this land. But for that to
happen, we will have to get to a point when the other side is also recognizing Israel as legitimate and not always wanting to go back to something that it's crazy. It's crazy always. I mean, the right of return. Nobody's returning to Tel Aviv. This is like you and me returning to some Berlin or North Morocco. I mean, it's not happening. The Second World War was like almost 100 years ago, and that's it. And now,
Yeah.
I mean, Israel has...
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. The right of return is what maybe the most complicated issue, right?
But
On
that's the issue. That at the end of the day, that's the issue. That's why you have UNRWA. That's why Palestinians are still refugees. And instead of going on with their life and building a country, they have built refugee camps in the wait of returning to Tel Aviv, to where you live now. And you can't build peace like that. You need to have a process where both sides agree to a border, to two countries, and say, okay, that's it. We fight for a long time, but now, as an Israeli, I recognize your right to live on this part, and you as a Palestinian recognize my right to live on this part, and you have no aspiracy. You're not teaching your kids. That's the core issue. You're not teaching your kids anymore that tomorrow you will jihad the whole Tel Aviv and go back to Jaffa. That's not happening.
I think, yes, how we write from now the narrative, Israelis and Palestinians on each side and all together, it's maybe one of the most important things that we'll have to work on. Acknowledging the other, the history of the other, the existence of the other, the rights of the other. That's going to be a complicated matter, and I think maybe, yes, if not the most important, for sure, something very important if we don't want to find ourselves in such a situation again or worse in the future. If we don't want our kids to be in this situation, it's, yeah. Good luck to us.
No, I think we can, I mean, those 2 years, personally and as a country, it's like, we're just now starting to realizing. I think we still, as an Israeli, I think I still didn't have processed what happened on 7th of October. I think this
We're going to have to process that too.
We
haven't processed that. And
it's going to take us a long time, and it's going to be a very hard thing a very hard scare to take care of. And I guess on the other side, it's the same.
They're going to have also to exit this survival mode and acknowledge everything that happened. It's very hard.
But after those 2 years, I think at the end of this horrible tunnel of suffering and fear, I think we maybe, and I'm always want to be optimistic. I think that we're maybe gonna get to a better place, because I guess that with that ceasefire and with that peace process that's starting, maybe we will open also the opportunity for having the Abraham Accord to go wider. That means having a treaty with Morocco, which can be amazing, and the Saudis.
If they're still up to this, because there are many protests in Morocco now, and I don't know what will happen next. I thought they will play a bigger part in the whatever agreement we'll have together with Jordan. Anyway, sorry.
No, but okay. So maybe at the end of the day, we will be in a better Middle East, in a more appeased and with some kind of a peace in the region, like.
If there is a plan.
Why not? At the end of the day,
if everyone can see the benefit they can get, not only the people, the leaders also, to these agreements, how it will make the region stronger and help the economy and probably help them also stay in power or whatever, because unfortunately this is also how it works. Maybe it will work. Maybe if everyone gets Yeah, money can solve
I
a lot
mean,
of problems.
imagine a year from now, you can go visit in the Saudis. Take a plane.
I'd like to say something here
What?
because it's like, I feel like, people in Europe, they like to talk about, hey, if you win the lotto, what will you do? And we're like, if we have peace,
Yes.
what will we do? Will you travel to, by the way, at the end, everyone is going to Saudi?
Why not? I mean, maybe Iran at the end of the day.
I'd like to eat knafe with my Syrian friends when they will go back to Syria, and we'll have knafe together. Both in...
There is an agreement on the way with Syria, by the way.
It doesn't mean that we're going to eat the knafe right away.
Not right away, but again, it's just, I mean...
And we have to make sure really that with the Druze are protected, and that has to be a part of the agreement no matter what.
I guess they got the message, by the way, apropos invading countries, we also invade Syria in the... we also... And I guess they got the message about the Druze.
I guess they do. Now they have to...
I hope. But I mean, it's a very... People don't understand how violent
and the Kurds, of course.
The region is. Because when you live... We both understand that because we grew up in France. You can hear the accent. But when you're growing up in Europe, you don't understand war because there wasn't a war like the last war where your grandparents were.
Yes, you understand war as a history tool that you're supposed to learn from, to be proud of some achievements that your country, of course, had. And
you're also learning how bad you were as a colonizer and blah blah blah, and then you have that guilt in yourself.
No, I think it's important to learn about our past and not say hey, and not to cheer over the fact that we colonized countries and enslaved people. And
we didn't.
You and me know because our grandparents were not born in France, but still. It's a part of, it goes together with the history. You become French, it's part of the history of the country.
Do your homework and analyze.
You don't have to carry the guilt.
Yeah, don't put that on it. But when you're growing up in Europe, you don't understand war. It took me a very long time as a newcomer in Israel to understand, I mean, the danger. It's a violent neighborhood. People really want to kill you.
For me, it was a real shock, especially in 2014. Like among all the other shocks that it was, the very idea of war was like it exists. Like it's not something that my grandparents had to live with to survive, and then wish that we'll never have to deal with this. And it's
the second Intifada was very hardcore. I was living in Jerusalem, and every other day there was a suicide bomber bombing in a bus, restaurants. It was like Russian roulette. Every time you were going to a restaurant, you were going on a bus, it was like, maybe I'm going to die. You don't know. I was like in a shooting terror attack in the middle of the street. We start running. I mean,
in Jerusalem?
Yeah.
And it was in Tel Aviv.
It was happening every other day. It was so frightening. And you enter, I mean, it's becoming part of you. And when you're coming from Europe, as we do, as like kids growing up in France, you're like, peace and love, and like, you're so naive, and kumbaya. And suddenly people are like exploding on the streets.
Yeah, it's a very specific way to acknowledge. And I remember we used to make the jokes like, okay, you had your first missile, so now you're a real Israeli. But you feel more Israeli every time something like this happens. And I mean, and you feel Israeli also because you see people like, it's like you almost died yesterday and today you're going to party. It's part also of the Israeli mentality, right? But you have reminders constantly, right? Like you take the bus, I don't know, it's like I'm in Beersheba for my work. And then I leave Beersheba, and then I have calls. Are you okay? Are you still in Beersheba? Are you at the train station, the bus station? Why? Because there was a terror attack. And you have these reminders constantly. Yes, it's something that you have to live with. And in the last 2 years, Yes.
Every day.
We felt...
I mean, every day.
Yes.
And especially with Iran, it was like, it was the worst of everything. But because it wasn't like, okay, a bus went off. It was like neighborhoods.
Neighborhood that were completely destroyed. By the way, the terrorist, when you were in this shooting in the street, was he freed during one of the agreements, or will he be freed? Do you know that? Is he on the list of...
I don't know, and I don't care. I mean, you can free...
You don't want to...
No, I don't care. I mean, if it was up to me, I will free everyone. Just like take them and do whatever. I mean...
Because when we talk about the prisoners that will be freed by Israel in exchange for hostages, some people say it's a ransom more than an exchange to get people back. It's many of them. I don't know if all of them.
They said 200 of them are like
known terrorists who have blood on their hands, which means they took part in attacks, terror attacks that killed civilians in Israel. So during the last agreement, I mean, I was trying every time there is an agreement and where there is this issue talking about the terrorists that are going to be freed, the Palestinian prisoners. I'm trying not to look at this because I don't want to. You know, we have to choose life, the sanctity of life, and if it can save hostages and end the war. So we're like, I'm all for. And then my sister told me, did you see like one of the terrorists that was in Sarona, because we were in Sarona a couple 7 years ago maybe now, with my sister, very pregnant, and my parents. So one of those two terrorists who killed 4 people and injured 16, will be freed. And it was still, you know, like to know that, like to have really this knowledge.
It's very hard, especially on the families. And
I can only imagine for the families, and that's... Yeah, anyway, that was just... we went a bit all over today. Yeah, I guess we kept a lot of things inside during those 2 years, and now the idea that we can have an agreement is like...
Please, make it happen.
Amen. Want to see if there is something new that happened in the last hour?
Let's see. Let's see if we got something new. A positive ending.
Hospitals are preparing for the return of the hostages. Some of them we know are in very, very bad health.
And everybody's warning that don't let go, because there is this, I don't know, it's kind of a ritual when in Israel, when we're signing agreement with Hamas, the ritual is at the very last moment, just before the signing is, let's say the agreement take action at 1 o'clock. So at 10 minutes to 1 o'clock, they will send their last missiles just to say, hey, we had the last word. Because again,
that's what it is about.
This is the Middle East, and this is about pride and about...
Iran did it too.
Obviously.
That was my moment on the road without shelter, of course, and my daughter.
So it's all on the news. Don't rejoice too much. Be aware, and the Israelis obviously they know. Okay, don't go to sleep yet.
We have to be pragmatic.
Are you sure it's called the PeaceFactory? This podcast.
Again, where there is war, we have to fight for peace. Once there is peace, we cannot not highlight. We don't have the luxury to be naive. Especially now, not anymore, as much as I want peace. And again, I don't have problem to make peace with Palestinians, with people in Lebanon, Lebanese, Syrians, Iranians, Yemenis, anyone. I know what their terrorist group are capable of. And that's it.
We're not Greta Thunberg.
I think we can put all this... thing in the past because it's not relevant anymore, and I was
now that there is a peace agreement, do you think she will come
again
to
I don't know.
Now that the blockade will be open, and maybe let's say the Saudis or the Qatari will be the one taking care of the international water close to the Gaza Strip. Do you think that they will send a new flotilla to?
She will have like some kind of social pressure now. She has to. I think. I don't know. For me, I don't want to talk about this so much because I'm sure some people on this flotilla had good intentions. Some of them, I'm sorry to say, not so much.
Not that there is a peace agreement. Do you think
I think it's not relevant to speak about them because like
not them.
You know, we had this speech of Bibi Netanyahu and Trump saying that that's it, they're going to try to reach an agreement, and for the first time I believed it, by the way, because it was so sweaty. Netanyahu, so it was like something is hard for him to say, so it must be true. And then, you know, all those protests, not in support of a ceasefire that could end the war, but supporting the flotilla, free the people from the flotilla. Come on, let's go back on even if you don't care about the hostages, let's go back on that's it. We're going to cease fire and stop the bombing on Gaza, and the Gazans will not be under bombs anymore. That's what you should put your focus on.
So that was my question. Those who were like ceasefire now, stop the.
I don't care that there were fleas in your room at this point. You know, like.
Do you think that now they will like say yes, thank you for the ceasefire? They will actually.
Listen, if they want to be, if they're sincere. In their activism, if they really care about Gazans and they want to come back and help rebuild, let them.
All the people
help rebuild. I don't know. They want to take like a cement and work and distribute aid now. Yalla.
There is a call. There was a call. I guess there is still a call for not letting Israel be part of Eurovision because of the war. You heard about it?
Yes, yes. Austria today said that because they're supposed to host it next, and they said that there's no way.
So now that there is a ceasefire, do you think they will say, okay, now we have a ceasefire, so kumbaya, we can go back to how it was before? Know. Or are we still like
all this thing about the Eurovision went a bit out of proportion, if you ask me. I mean, I understand that people were trying to...
But you know, the whole thing, like not... letting football clubs play in Europe.
I think and I hope that countries now that were supporting, calling for a ceasefire, supporting the ceasefire, etc., I think they will understand that maybe encouraging, that maybe one way for diplomacy to be efficient, and we do need the diplomacy now, is to encourage even the people that you don't agree with, and Israelis, I mean...
But do you think they will do it? They will actually like say, okay, now it's the time, or they will still continue?
If they want to continue embargo, the countries who voted embargo, arm embargoes, like Spain, against Israel, and if they don't want to provide arms to Israel now, no problem. I wish they would maybe, when we're talking about boycotting artists or academics, who are usually the people who oppose also the government and its policies and their vocals, and no one is trying, and no one is giving them even here, like the politicians here are not letting them speak, and they're trying also they're doing the same thing, they're boycotting them. I hope they will understand that those people have to be given a voice. We have to let them speak. We have to hear what they have to say. Not all artists are like this, obviously, and not all academics. And building relations, even with people who you don't agree with and dislike, under some condition, is the way to rebuild and ensure the peace. This is what Europe did, basically, like economic agreement, and so, like, it's hard to break.
So we will know in the next few weeks if the agreement hold on and there is really a ceasefire and a halt to the war and the rebuild process. I mean, I'm a fear of like now that the door of anti-Semitism and like so-called anti-Zionism is open, it will be very hard to close it back. To say, yeah, now the war is over, we can go back to be friend with our Israeli like.
I think anti-Semitism can be at best dormant. It can sleep.
Will it go back to sleep?
he can go back to sleep.
I'm not that sure.
I think it will always exist, and I think it will take time because we reached a point that is very severe. But it doesn't mean it can be dormant, because when you say that, like, every time there is an anti-Semitic attack, and I also wrote about that, like, a lot of people say, yeah, but it is because of the Israeli government and Zionism. They ignore the fact that anti-Semitism always existed and will always exist, and that it was just, maybe they wake it up, they help wake it up, but to become an anti-Semite, it has to be inside of you already, right?
Yes, a bit.
I mean, so easily you switch and you make a generality on 15 millions of people, except maybe some tokens that agree with you and criticize every other Jews. You have to be a bit anti-Semite to begin with. So it's dormant.
Un petit peu.
But it will still exist, and we have to be aware of that too. You cannot
It's
ignore
dormant.
that it will.
So
This is my very optimist
you have the
take. Sorry.
You have the virus, but you're asymptomatic until
It's there, and it just have to.
Okay, good talk. Let's see where we are next week.
Yes, it's like.
Yes, I mean, and like every week, if you have
questions
good
that we're trying to raise, but
yeah, put it in the comments. But like constructive, like positive, maybe not only like you.
That's what we need. By the way, when I said that, what I said, and I didn't explain it very well. Constructive comment would be nice. Simple hatred and conspiracy theories will not be helpful in the near future or any future. But genuinely brainstorming with Palestinian and Israeli to rebuild can actually make a difference, a good one. So, yalla. Bye. Peace. Bye.